China is making a bold move. It is shifting its oil imports away from the United States. This is a major development in the global energy market. China is the world's largest oil importer. The US has been a major supplier. Now that relationship is changing. This shift has significant implications. It signals a change in the global balance of power. It also reflects China's growing influence. The world is watching closely as this dynamic unfolds. It will have lasting consequences for years to come. China's decision is driven by several factors. One is the desire for greater energy security. Another is the growing political and economic rivalry between China and the US. The trade war between the two countries has also played a role. This move is a sign of things to come. As China looks for new oil suppliers, it is turning to other parts of the world. BRICS countries, including Russia and Brazil, are becoming increasingly important partners. China is also strengthening ties with countries in the global south. This strategic realignment is reshaping the global energy landscape. China's search for new oil suppliers has led it to the global south. This region is home to many developing countries with vast oil reserves. Countries like Venezuela, Nigeria, and Angola are becoming increasingly important to China's energy security. This partnership is mutually beneficial. China gains access to much-needed oil and gas resources. The global south benefits from Chinese investment and infrastructure development. This relationship is strengthening ties between China and these countries. This shift away from the US has significant geopolitical implications. It reduces China's dependence on the US for its energy needs. It also strengthens China's ties with countries that are often at odds with the US. This is leading to a more multipolar world. China's engagement with the global south goes beyond just oil. It is investing heavily in infrastructure projects, such as ports, roads, and railways. This is part of China's Belt and Road Initiative. This initiative aims to connect China to the rest of the world through trade and investment. The trade war between the US and China is a major factor driving China's oil diversification strategy. This conflict has forced China to rethink its energy policies and seek alternative sources of oil to ensure its energy security. The tariffs imposed by both countries have disrupted global trade flows. These disruptions have had a ripple effect, impacting not just the US and China, but also other nations that are part of the global supply chain. The uncertainty in trade has led to increased costs and delays, making it imperative for China to find more stable and reliable sources of energy. This has made China wary of relying too heavily on the US for its energy needs. The country has been investing heavily in its own energy infrastructure, building new refineries and storage facilities to reduce its dependence on foreign oil. This move is part of a broader strategy to achieve greater energy independence and security. The trade war is a symptom of a larger geopolitical rivalry. This rivalry is not just about trade. It encompasses a wide range of issues, including military power, technological advancements, and global influence. The US and China are both vying for dominance on the world stage, and oil is just one of the many arenas where this competition is playing out. The US sees China as a rising power that challenges its global dominance. American policymakers are concerned that China's growing influence could undermine US interests around the world. This has led to a more aggressive stance towards China, with the US seeking to counter China's rise through various means, including economic sanctions and military alliances. China, on the other hand, wants to be recognized as a global leader in its own right. The country is investing heavily in various sectors, including technology, infrastructure, and energy, to bolster its position on the global stage. China's leaders believe that by reducing their dependence on US oil, they can gain more leverage in international negotiations and assert their influence more effectively. This competition is playing out in many areas, including trade, technology, and security. Both countries are investing heavily in new technologies, such as artificial intelligence and renewable energy, to gain a competitive edge. They are also strengthening their military capabilities and forming strategic alliances to protect their interests. Oil is a key battleground in this rivalry. Control over oil resources and supply chains can provide significant economic and strategic advantages. Both the US and China are keenly aware of this, and they are taking steps to secure their access to oil and other critical resources. The US has long used its control of global oil markets to exert influence over other countries. By dominating the oil market, the US has been able to shape global economic policies and maintain its position as a world leader. However, this dominance is now being challenged by China's efforts to diversify its oil sources and reduce its reliance on US oil. China's move away from US oil is a direct challenge to this dominance. By seeking alternative sources of oil, China is not only ensuring its own energy security, but also weakening the US's ability to use oil as a tool of influence. This shift is part of a broader strategy to create a more balanced and multipolar world order. It shows that China is willing to use its economic clout to reshape the global order. The country is leveraging its economic power to build new trade relationships and alliances, reducing its dependence on any single country. This approach is aimed at creating a more resilient and diversified global economy. This shift has significant implications for the future of global trade. As China diversifies its oil sources and builds new trade partnerships, other countries may follow suit. This could lead to a more fragmented and competitive global trade environment with multiple power centers rather than a single dominant player. It suggests that we are moving towards a more multipolar world. In this new world order, power and influence will be more evenly distributed among several key players, rather than being concentrated in the hands of one or two superpowers. This could lead to a more balanced and stable global system, but it could also result in increased competition and conflict. In this world, no single country will have absolute control over key resources or markets. Instead, power will be shared among multiple nations, each with its own strengths and weaknesses. This could lead to more collaboration and cooperation, but it could also create new challenges and tensions. This could lead to greater competition, but also greater instability. As countries vie for control over resources and markets, the risk of conflict and economic disruption may increase. However, this competition could also drive innovation and progress, leading to new solutions and opportunities for growth. Section 4. Energy Security, China's Quest for Stability in a Turbulent World. Energy security is a top priority for China. The nation's leadership has repeatedly emphasized the importance of ensuring a stable and reliable energy supply to support its economic growth and development. As the world's largest energy consumer, China is highly dependent on imports to meet its growing needs. The rapid industrialization and urbanization have significantly increased the demand for energy, making it crucial for China to secure diverse energy sources. This dependence makes China vulnerable to supply disruptions, price volatility, and geopolitical tensions. Any instability in the global energy market can have a direct impact on China's economy and its ability to sustain growth. To mitigate these risks, China is pursuing a strategy of energy diversification. This involves not only increasing the share of renewable energy in its energy mix, but also enhancing energy efficiency and reducing reliance on fossil fuels. This means securing energy supplies from a variety of sources, both domestically and internationally. China is exploring new oil and gas reserves within its borders and in international waters, while also investing in coal, which remains a significant part of its energy portfolio. China is investing heavily in renewable energy sources, such as solar and wind power. These investments are part of a broader effort to transition to a more sustainable energy system and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. It is also exploring new oil and gas reserves, both onshore and offshore. These efforts are aimed at reducing the country's dependence on foreign oil and enhancing its energy security. China's reliance on oil imports is a major strategic vulnerability. The country imports a significant portion of its oil from the Middle East, a region known for its political instability and conflict. Any disruption to these imports, whether due to political instability, natural disasters, or conflict, could have severe consequences for China's economy. The potential for such disruptions underscores the importance of diversifying energy sources and securing stable supply routes. This vulnerability is driving China's efforts to secure its energy future. The government is actively seeking to build strategic partnerships and alliances to ensure a steady flow of energy resources. China's pursuit of energy security has led it to engage with countries that the U.S. considers to be rivals or adversaries. These relationships are often driven by mutual interests in energy cooperation and economic development. This includes countries like Russia, Iran, and Venezuela. These nations possess significant energy resources and are willing to engage in long-term agreements with China, providing a more secure and diversified energy supply. These partnerships are controversial, but they highlight China's willingness to prioritize its national interest over ideological considerations. By securing energy deals with these countries, China aims to reduce its vulnerability to global energy market fluctuations and ensure a stable energy supply for its future growth and development. Section 5. Sanctions and Strategic Partnerships. Navigating a complex geopolitical landscape. In today's interconnected world, the geopolitical landscape is more complex than ever. Countries are not only vying for power and influence, but also for critical resources like oil, which is the lifeblood of modern economies. U.S. sanctions on countries like Iran and Venezuela have played a significant role in shaping global oil markets. These sanctions are part of broader U.S. strategies aimed at curbing the influence of these nations. For China, a country with a voracious appetite for energy, these sanctions have necessitated a shift in its oil diversification strategy. These sanctions have made it increasingly difficult for China to purchase oil from these countries directly. The restrictions have led to logistical challenges, such as blocked pipelines and ships unable to dock at ports, complicating the oil trade. As a result, China has been compelled to find alternative suppliers and to develop innovative ways of financing oil trades. This includes negotiating with other oil-producing nations and exploring new financial mechanisms to bypass the sanctions. The Chinese government has been vocal in its criticism of U.S. sanctions, arguing that they are counterproductive and detrimental to the global economy. Protests and economic reports have highlighted the widespread impact of these sanctions, not just on the targeted countries, but on global trade as a whole. From China's perspective, these sanctions are often seen as tools of U.S. foreign policy designed to pressure countries that do not align with U.S. interests. This has led to a series of diplomatic confrontations and debates on the international stage. Despite the challenges posed by U.S. sanctions, China has continued to purchase oil from Iran and Venezuela, albeit at reduced levels. This persistence underscores China's determination to secure its energy needs, even in the face of international pressure. To circumvent U.S. sanctions, China has employed various strategies, such as engaging in barter arrangements and trading in currencies other than the U.S. dollar. These methods have allowed China to maintain a steady flow of oil while minimizing the impact of sanctions. China's willingness to defy U.S. sanctions is a clear demonstration of its growing assertiveness on the world stage. By signing new oil trade agreements and ensuring the safe passage of its oil tankers, China is signaling its readiness to challenge the status quo. This situation also highlights the limits of U.S. power in a world where other countries are increasingly willing to challenge U.S. hegemony. The global geopolitical landscape is shifting, with new alliances and power dynamics emerging. As China's economic and political influence continues to grow, this trend is likely to persist. The world is witnessing a reconfiguration of power, where traditional dominance is being questioned and new players are asserting their roles on the global stage. The future will undoubtedly see more strategic partnerships and complex geopolitical maneuvers as nations navigate this evolving landscape.